Hi there. So you can probably tell that I have like an eye patch on and some really heavy sunglasses on. And well, what happened is I was at work. I was prying off steel studs that were anchored into a block wall, and I took this pry bar and I pried up on this steel stud and right on where this anchor was, and the anchor came out in a big explosion of just concrete and mortar and block particles. It sprayed right into my face, and I'd already pulled up 20 other ones, and you know, it does make like a goes, you know, your crunches. You pull it up and it makes a crunch sound, you know, and stuff kind of shoots out or whatever. But this one, just 1 in a million chance, just shot just the right way, and my face was just the right angle where it got past my safety glasses and went right into my eye. A little tiny speck of dust. It could have even been an actual pebble, because concrete and concrete blocks have tiny pebbles mixed in with the cement that they make them with. And it got me in the eye, and I felt it, and it absolutely hurt, and I dropped what I was doing, and I took my eyelid and I kind of opened it, and I blinked and I rubbed the edges of my eye, and I kind of felt some dust come out of it, and it still hurt, but I could still see, and I knew that I could keep working, right? So like if you're in construction, you know, you're swinging a hammer, you hit your thumb with the hammer, you know, your finger didn't fall off, it's not bleeding, but your nail might turn purple. You know, you don't report it. You don't go to the supervisor, oh, I hit my thumbnail, you know. Or if you get something falls down and maybe grazes your arm and you get a little scratch, but it isn't bleeding and gushing out, you know, you don't go to your supervisor and say, hey, you know, I got a scratch, or, you know, or my leg's sore, or for some reason my back hurts. It's just, you know, it's not a big deal. It's not affecting me right now. It's not life-threatening in any way, shape, or form. You know, my decision was, well, I'll just keep working. And I worked for another 2-3 hours, and I was fine. And I might have said to my coworker, you know, oh yeah, I just got something in my eye. Hold on a second. And anyways, at the end of the day, I got done at about 11. And we got done with our little project, and I said, I want to get going. I'm supposed to go up to a longboard race. And he's like, all right, go ahead. So I took off. I'm driving down. I still kind of felt like I had a speck in my eye. So kind of like rubbing the outside of my eye, feeling like there was like something in there. And I'd blink, and I could feel like there's a little twinge of something, right? Well, it wasn't until about 7 or 8 o'clock at night where all of a sudden my eyes just started watering like crazy. And I was kind of driving one-eyed, and I'm like, oh geez, I need to do something about this. And I keep blinking really hard, hoping that it'll stop hurting and stuff. And it didn't. It kept getting worse. I went to the store, I got some Visine. The Visine kind of made it worse. Fell asleep in my car at the campground. 5 a.m. The race is going to start. I get up at 4:30. I can't open my eyes. I can open my eye, but it's definitely puffy and swollen and just full of shit. You know, I couldn't, and it hurt like a bastard every time I blinked. So I tell the event promoter, you know, I got a problem with my eye. I don't know if I'm going to make it. I'm going to try it. Well, I made it 20 miles, and the pain was too much. I couldn't see. I was dizzy, starting to get a headache. Went to the emergency room. They said I had a corneal abrasion. Now, they mostly describe a corneal abrasion as like a scratch or something, but this was very obvious. Something shot into my eye and probably like bruised it and kind of hurt. Like, it certainly was like damaged, but it was like a speck, a circle, because what they do is they put a dye in your eye, and then they look at it with a black light, and they can see exactly what it is. And it was a perfect circle, and it's kind of on the lower part of my pupil, and that's why my vision was so messed up. And they gave me some eye drops, and then they prescribed me some ointment. So I put the ointment in that night, and I went ahead and I did the next leg of the race, and I was able to skate 61 miles in 6 hours and 38 minutes, which is a new record for me. But I know I could have done better if I would have had both my eyes. I can see out of it, but it's very blurry. It's like if somebody took your glasses and then went like this on them, and they make it all foggy. That's what it's like looking out the side. So, did the race. I kept the sweat out of my eye, and I wiped my face quite a bit, and I made it through. And then later in the night, it kind of started bothering me. I put the ointment in my eye, and as soon as the ointment's in my eye, I can't see anymore. And I went to bed, woke up, my eyes just crusty. I can barely blink. It hurts. I can't see. My eyes watering like crazy. Eat breakfast, pack in my car. I'm gonna go home. There's another day of a race, but I gotta go. I gotta get going, right? I gotta get to work on Monday. I got an 11-hour drive. I want to see my daughter, and I can't drive. The sun is bright in the morning. It's just shining in my eye. My eye's watering like crazy. My other eye, like this eye is blinking and squinting. So this eye is squinting, and I'm essentially blind. So I tried the sunglasses. No, it ain't work. I tried driving with one hand over it. That ain't work. I buy another pair of sunglasses that are darker than the one I had. It's still not working. So finally, I went to a truck stop. I got an eye patch at Walmart, and I went to a truck stop, and I got these 400 UV protection glasses, and finally I can drive without squinting and having to have my hand over my eye. So it's good, right? Anyways, going on and on and on about this. I've got health insurance. When I went to the emergency room, they cover my health insurance. I had to call my employer and be like, hey, I got something in my eye on Thursday. Today's Friday, and it finally came. It finally showed up as a serious injury. So what happens is when something pokes you in the eye, it might not really affect you that much right away, because it's sort of like getting a blister. Like if you've been doing some hard work in the garden and you get a blister on your hand. Well, that blister, you don't really notice it's there until you kind of look and it's got a puffed up spot. Well, same thing with your eye. The little spot right by my pupil was puffed up, and then finally it popped, and then that's when all those nerve endings are exposed, and it hurts like a mother, right? Plus I was getting sweat in it and everything else. So that's what I got going on now. Now, since it did happen at work, I got a call on Monday and make sure that it goes through the system. They want to know that I told Dave and blah, 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 and what happened. And I've got no doubt that they're going to accept it as a workplace injury. So hopefully nothing will come out of my pocket out of that. But here's something that I wanted to talk about as the Democrats are talking about Medicare for all. So people are really wondering, if you're going to get Medicare for all, isn't our taxes going to go up? And it's not that hard to understand the math about it. See, right now I have health insurance, and they're probably taking $100 out of my check every week. I'm in the union, so I don't actually see it. Being in the union, I get paid a larger sum, but I only see what gets taken home, what I get to take home. The rest, the health insurance stuff, comes out of another amount of that money. See, every hour that I'm at work, my company is charging the customer an amount of money, and it could be $100 an hour. They could say, all right, this skilled masonry worker, we're charging you $100 an hour for him to be there, right? So then you break up that $100, and the employer, most employers that are non-union are going to give that worker a small percentage of that money. At one point, I was getting $25 an hour. Then that $25 an hour, they take out my health insurance. They take out my 401k. They take out my life insurance or whatever else from that $25 an hour. Well, a union has formed, and unions have formed, and they say, hey, if you're going to charge the customer $100 an hour, then you need to pay our worker what they're worth, not what you can get away with. And right now, I think it's $56 an hour. So out of that $100, 56 of it goes to me. 35 of it goes directly to me. And then the $22 or so of it, the union was going to pay for my health insurance and going to put into the pension and do these other little things. And it's all for the benefit of me, okay? Now, when a few years ago I was in a non-union company, and every week $67 a week came out of my paycheck, and I was just covering myself in health insurance. Other times I was getting $120 out of each paycheck. Other times when I didn't have any health insurance or a job and I just needed insurance, they wanted upwards of $500 a week, $200 a week, $300 a week. That's impossible. If I've got a job that doesn't offer health insurance, it probably doesn't pay that well. There's no way that I could afford health insurance. Now, that money that they're getting, they being private insurance companies, they want as much money from you as they can possibly get. As much as they possibly can get. Why? Because they're trying to make a profit so that the owners of the health insurance, so that the CEOs, that the managers, and all the people who work at the health insurance companies can make as much money as possible. That's their job. Now, let's say I'm getting charged $100 for every week for health insurance. Now, we can call that a private tax. You have to pay that if you want to have health insurance. Now, if under Medicare for All, it's not going to be $100 out of my paycheck. It's going to be less. Why? Because the government or the Medicare for All system is not trying to make a profit. Now, that $100 a week, none is going towards your health care if you don't have an injury, if you aren't going to the hospital, if you aren't getting any kind of treatment. That $100 is pure profit for the health insurance industry. Pure profit, all right? Now, it does go to other people under that same insurance company, but that's only the people that are covered, and that's only the people that need care. Now, most insurance companies aren't going to cover you if you have a pre-existing condition.
In half a mile, keep right to stay on I-94 East.
They aren't covering a lot of people for a lot of different reasons. They only want to cover the people who are going to give them profit. Now, Medicare for All system, you're going to be able to cover everybody. Why? Because the money that's going into the insurance is actually...
keep right to stay on I-94 East.
Is actually going to go towards the people rather than towards profiting the health insurance companies. So is your taxes going to go up? The taxes on your paycheck...
Continue on I-94 East for 59 miles.
...will go up a little bit for the health insurance, but you aren't going to have to pay that private tax to the private insurance company because you're not using their insurance anymore. I would much rather pay $30 out a week for my Medicare for All than to pay $100 a week. And that money is going to save so much money, trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars. Even if let's say only the people who private insurance companies are paying are people who are on private insurance companies. Let's say the Medicare for All system is only going to cover those people. All that profit that the private insurance companies was getting, you can times that profit by 2, by 3, by 4 times. But if you take that money and you put it into the Medicare for All system, that's billions and trillions of fucking dollars. That is so much money. So a Medicare for All system isn't going to use it to buy yachts, to buy boats, to buy vacations, to buy 3, 4, 5 summer vacation homes. They're going to put it back into the people, and you're going to be able to cover your children. You're going to be able to cover your immigrant. You're going to be able to cover the people who were never able to get health insurance previously on the private insurance system. So even if you cover all those people in the Medicare for All system, you're still saving trillions of dollars. Now, I don't know about you, but I really don't give a shit about the people in the private insurance industries. I don't give a shit if you get another yacht. I don't give a shit if you get to have another fucking vacation. I don't give a shit if you want to buy another house, and now you can't this year because we went to a Medicare for All system. I don't give a shit about you. I give a shit about my next door neighbor who hasn't had insurance for 20 years. I give a shit about my grandmother who needs some dental care. I care about the little boy who is in foster care and doesn't have health insurance. I care about the lady who has cancer but doesn't have any insurance, so she can't get it treated. Those are the people I care about. I don't give a shit about the fucking rich at the top of the health insurance industry. I don't care. So, just to be clear, you have to understand this before you can get on board, and I hope that helped. I hope that helped, because I mean, if you've never talked to someone from Canada, from someone from Australia, from someone from Sweden or Norway, listen, they say it doesn't matter what doctor you want to go to or where you want to go. All you do is you just walk into a medical facility and they'll put you through the ringer of what you need to do. You're going to get your x-rays, you're going to get your consultations, you're going to get your prescriptions, okay? As it is now in a private insurance company, if my health insurance didn't cover my ER visit up in Minnesota and I live in Wisconsin, then I'd be charged up the ass for that stuff. I don't want to do that. Okay, that's not good for the American people. But under a Medicare for All system, it doesn't matter if I decide to take a road trip to California where my network doesn't exist at all. I'll be able to walk in and I'll be able to get coverage and I'll be able to get treatment. All right. Talk to someone from Canada, talk to someone from Australia where they have a form of Medicare for All. You're going to see that they don't have to pay that much. It's much less than what we're paying right now. They're all covered, and this weird idea of the waiting list. Listen, if you think that there's going to be such a huge waiting list, then this is what you need to do. This is what your community needs to do, what your state needs to do. Just build another hospital. All right? Listen. The need for health care is great. The need for treatment is great. If you think that there's an issue with not getting there soon enough, build a hospital. Give some more jobs. Get some more doctors in there. It's very simple to do that. Very simple. And you just think about the people that you know. Is there 1,000 people right now who you think have a worse condition than you, so they're going to get put ahead of you, so now you have to wait 6 months to get your life-threatening illness taken care of? No. We're talking about a few hours here, a few hours there. It's not going to back up the system to a point where everybody's going to start dying because they're waiting in line. Absolutely not. I don't believe that. Okay, and I don't think anybody believes that. And I'll tell you what, if you get into the Medicare for All program and all of a sudden, I need to get my tooth fixed, and you got to wait for 5 years, well, then maybe we got to figure something out, build some more hospitals. But I think that's just a right-wing lie. That's a Republican lie. That there are people that are on the television and the mainstream media who are lying to us because they are being paid by the health insurance industry. They're basically essentially employees of the health insurance industry, and they're paid to say, the wait line's going to be huge. We can't afford it, and blah 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 blah. No, that's not true. Talk to people who actually have the system in place right now, and they've had it for years, and talk to those people, and I guarantee you one thing for sure: they're healthier than us. They're healthier than us, and we are sick, we're dying, we're fat, we're out of shape, and we're broke. Okay, figure it out. Educate yourself, or don't live in ignorance and have a shitty existence. That's your choice. Seriously, maybe we do get Medicare for All, but since you decided that it was a stupid idea, then you opt out of having any insurance at all, and you can pay for that private insurance. You can find a company that'll give you that, and have fun with that, because mine's going to be cheaper than yours. So.